From the look of things, it's like we have originally gotten a flag for Africa. You guys know that. Okay, let me put a backstory here so that some of you will understand this thing. Let me put it in context. So, almost a year ago, some countries in Africa decided that they were done with this ECOWAS back and forth, because they will always have this ECOWAS meeting and it doesn't really yield to anything that benefits Africans. Rather, it's usually to romance the ego of the French or the European people. So, when the white people came, I think the other people went to other parts of Africa, others went to other parts of Africa. They shared themselves into three. The French were colonizing the other side, the British were colonizing this side, and it made it such that's why you see that some African countries are speaking, their lingua franca is English, and some other African countries, their lingua franca is French. Now, with all the back and forth with ECOWAS, it was almost beginning to look as though we didn't know what we were doing. So, three major countries decided to pull out. And when they pulled out of ECOWAS, it's not like the first time they walked out on ECOWAS was because Tinubu was their president. No, they've been trying to speak and communicate to all the leadership of ECOWAS to say these things are happening, where we keep sending things to these people. It's not good, but they never listen. So what happened? They took the government. Now, by the time they did the coup, they planned the coup to overthrow this government. They did not unalive this government. What they rather did was to remove this government, they tripled the government, and then took over power. So they took over power, and it looked like a joke. So the French government became very upset, and let's just say the European government became very upset, and like, why would they do that? Okay, so the aid they usually send to Niger, for example, they stopped because they took over from the guy who was always playing ball with them. They stopped giving. So one time in last year, they heard about the flood late last year. They heard about the flood that took over part of Niger Republic, and they sent aid to Niger, but they did not let the president or the heads of states, because military people are heads of states. Why, democratically elected presidents are called presidents, right? So they didn't tell the heads of state what was going on. Was not a problem. So when the man got to hear this, he decided to call for a meeting and told them that UN should not come into their country anymore to give aid, that they don't want aid. And moreover, if they want to give aid, they should at least speak with them first. As if that would not be enough. Okay, that went on. So Burkina Faso's case happened, where Burkina Faso now said, see, listen to me. My people will no longer go out there to work in European countries. They don't want them to go there. They want them to be in Burkina Faso. Everything they are going to do is going to be within them. They will employ labor within and do everything within. And they now spoke to different companies coming into that place to say, hello, as far as you are a foreigner, you are no longer going to have lands. We will not sell lands to you. We will only lease. So now selling land is you owning the land. Leasing is you paying for a number of years or months, and you pay the government or the private sector you may be leasing this from. So now in Burkina Faso, if you are not an indigenous or a citizen, you cannot own a land. They can no longer give. Those are the new laws. That I'm doing this to lay a background to what we are about to talk about, for those who may not understand everything that's been going on. So now Ibrahim Traoré went as far as making his country so rich. When I say so rich, in those days, they'll pack tomato, take it to France, go and turn it into tomato paste, then bring it back to Burkina Faso, and now sell it at a very exorbitant price. And it wasn't giving job to his people. So Ibrahim Traoré decided to open tomato factory in his place, and for the past weeks he's been opening different schools, standard schools, where I mean standard, like world-class schools for his people, because he said his people can never be treated again as second-class citizens. And it therefore mentioned that if you are from Burkina Faso, you do not have the right to relocate to Japa, as the Nigerians will call it in the Nigerian parlance. So a lot of us, I will say a lot of us, because I have been envying the Ibrahim Traoré. How the man is so graciously at his age. Ibrahim Traore is 30-something and he is doing so well for his country. Now people will be like, oh, you don't come from there, you don't know what's going on. I watch videos of people who live in Burkina Faso. I listen to news. I see people who are, people who are patriotic about Burkina Faso, who wish. I saw a young boy wishing that, he becomes a military officer just because of the way Ibrahim Traore carries himself. If you are a leader and people are not looking at you, leadership means leading by example. Leadership means taking responsibility. Leadership means the ball stops in your table and you take responsibility. But in a case where you feel that as a leader, you are not supposed to take responsibility, then you will be flawed. And people will come criticize you. Even though some governments in some parts of West Africa do not like being criticized, but they do not do the right thing. Now, moving forward, you know Mali. Mali has a lot of gold. Mali has gold in large deposit. And then they walk up to one of their very big, guy who was using their gold to do business. They say, guy, you are not paying tax as at when due, and you are not paying the real tax, you get. So with all of this back and forth, Ibrahim Traore told the people in this country, he said, now, before you come here to build a bridge, for example, maybe if he's bringing Chinese, I'm using that for example, and you want to build maybe a rail line, or you want to build a flyover or something that needs a mechanical system to work, you must employ at least 40 or 50% or even 70% of Burkina Faso people, and you must train them on how to maintain these machines should they break down, because we will not, like in my country, Nigeria, I'm sorry because I have to say it, when they bring the Chinese, they bring the Lebanese, they bring all those people to come work here, some of them will want to now begin to pay our people peanuts, use them, and they will not train them on, they will not empower them. So in Burkina Faso, it's not done that way anymore. Things have changed. Now you must train them. After training them, you will train them, pay them salary very well. You can never underpay them. And also train them on how to maintain those machines, because they want their people to now become more equipped, whether it's in technology, in construction, whatever it is. So this is just a few days ago, we had a news that Niger Republic said Nigerians can no longer travel to their country with the green passport, which used to be a passport for the whole of ECOWAS, all the countries under ECOWAS. So people are like, how can Niger say that about Nigeria when they know what Nigerians have done for them? But guys, if your president is not taking you as number one, is not treating you as king, another man will treat his own country as king, and you will look like the other people are not appreciative. Even though we know that the Niger people have benefited from Nigeria more than we have benefited from them. They come in and out of Nigeria and we don't even check them, which is wrong. So recently, the three very wonderful, impressive countries decided to come out with a passport that they will be using, which had led to the reason why they said Nigerians can no longer come in with the ECOWAS passports. And do I blame them? No. And they call these countries the EES. The AES, I think so. So now, if you look at it very well, today's news says that these three countries have come up with a flag. And one would say, is it that this flag is going to be an African flag? And what is even making me do this video is the fact that the other African presidents are upset with them that wait, I don't understand. People are trying to say we are done being under these people. These people colonized us, and they still sign after colonialism, and they have gone. They still sign one small paper and said, even though we are going, we are still going to control you. You still bring your money to us to print, brother. What is it? So my people, that is what we are saying now. So they have come up with a new flag, they have come up with a new passport, and we are wondering, is this flag going to be an African flag? But if you are patriotic enough as an African, you will know very well that we should stay on our own. Like one woman will always say, these people, the whites, the Western world needs Africa, but Africa do not need them. Because whether we like it or not, with technology and everything that is going on right now in Africa, a lot of African countries are self-sufficient. If you go into America, you see that Nigerians are, they talk of best doctors, you mention Nigerians. Nurses, you mention Nigerians. So we have everything, we do not need these people. But when we keep having bad leadership, this is what we have.